Good morning and welcome to ESO Q&A for March 26th. There's 6 days until launch, and I can't wait. I still haven't fixed the full screen issue with looking at a Twitch highlight though. So, that's still horribly ugly. What we're looking at though is our footage from when we ended up 3-manning Darkshade Caverns and Elden Hollow on Saturday. Let's hear for questions. What I did see, a lot of places posted, is people have been doing Tamriel Foundry finished their census, and just like TSO Census.info finished their poll about class balance and distribution and race and stuff. Yeah, the 2-man yesterday was a bit silly. That was a bit ridiculous. Morning, everyone. Does Daedric Protection passive work on Summon Storm Atronach? Yes. Because it should be, it should apply to just, Daedric summoning skills being on your bar. I'm entirely dependent on Daedric Protection. Yes, it will work with Storm Atronach. Yeah, because it's still on your bar, so it totally works. Any thoughts on the DK's numbers on the TF census? I kind of guessed as much, given how, quiet the DK forums are compared to the other classes. Do you think we would have been able to do it with different classes? Probably. We would just have to have done it, do things differently, but it totally could have been done with different classes, I believe. I mean, everything has a long duration CC, I believe, to lock out the Daedroth. What the hell? Apparently I cut this highlight at the wrong spot. There we go. There will be a double screen because I have to check things. When I try to full screen this and then do anything else, it re-minimizes. So are the template numbers of the Restoring Spirit change? I'm not. I mean, well, maybe a little. But they were always a middling class, from what I could tell. I just wish they actually, wow. I don't know where I'm going with that sentence. Hello, Fibs? We're going with Fibs. How do you know if the spell... okay. Basically, if it acts like it would be a melee skill, like it would be a melee attack, it probably uses melee crit. So, biting jabs is a series of spear jabs with, a short range, as a melee thing, because it's a spear. Or, Searing Strike, you physically hit them with, well, you don't physically hit them, you hit them with, but that's melee. Whereas Fiery Breath is, you just breathe fire. It's not melee that uses your spell crit. Best solo build. I have no idea because there's so many ways to build something solo. There's so many ways to do something solo. Yeah. Well, for now, there's no such thing as the best build. There will be better. There's definitely better builds, though. Best builds haven't been found yet. It's too early. How effective is Inhale and is more in terms of damage per cost? Damage per cost, I think Inhale is pretty good because if I remember correctly, I don't remember what the cost is, but it's like 400 after the explosion. But I think it's okay. So do you have a build that basically, DK by itself has ridiculous sustainability because just how strong Dragon Blood is as a skill. You're a bit limited on your magic though because it's a bit expensive, but as a heal, it's really strong. Character level 50 for rank 4. You have that much, and if you have that, yeah. Subject. I will be doing damage per cost with a lot of skills in the downtime between PTS going down and launch. At least for base values. So. Is your dual wield DK magic for Oblivion build? So it's really good. I haven't had a really good chance to test it. What I have gotten to play with it, it's really good. In theory, it should be really good. It does some of the most damage I've seen. I need to make a bunch of optimizations on it. I'll also be doing a update pass on all of my builds before launch. Do I think a well-built stamina build will be competitive with magic waste ones? Yes, I do. In some situations, yes. I do Hurricane. I think that in like single boss situations, you can get away with blocking everything. You have enough. If you have like enough regen or a cost reduction item, it should be fine. But with in terms of trash, then you do need to look out for specific things and knowing what to block. Hopefully, that's like with the design that's like what's available now. Hopefully they do add more things like that, because I think that's kind of cool. But they have to have very clear telegraphs beyond just power attack. Do you know how much fire damage increase? Do you know how much the damage increase on Whirlwind is? Also, can you depend on the stamina restore on Whirling Blades? Let's look up Whirlwind. wrong thing. I did. No, I didn't. What the hell? Trump. My DK build is not good at soloing. Just by the way, I've done it several times. It's way too squishy. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, I know what Whirling Blades is. Damage increase on with all health. I think the scaling is something like the same as Reverse Slash, because I've seen like base hit for like 112 and on low health targets do like 400. So I think it's pretty similar to Reverse Slash. Do you know what some of the possible enchantments for rings are? Yep, you'll on the rings you'll find all the cost reductions, magic cost reduction, stamina cost reduction. You'll find the regens. You'll find bash damage. You'll find potion effect, potion cooldown. What else was there? Let's see all the other, like the oddity ones. Because regen, yeah. In some PvP situations, yes. In all of the weekend betas recently, on that server, I've been using a Destruction Staff. And it works. I mean, that character suffers from the issues of being level 19 in Cyrodiil. The mana cost scaling is terrible, but it works. Do I have a preference, Templar or Sorcery Healers? I don't. Right, this was just ripped right off of the... That's this post, right? How to use... Huh. Are there any debuff / negative effects on potions? There can be. I don't know what they are, but there can be. For ranged DPS, in PvP, would I go bow or Destruction Staff? Bow. For ranged DPS, I would go bow. Is there a cap on any sort of health regen? I know the soft cap is 50. I don't know what the hard cap is. Have you seen one healer type stands out more than others? Not since the Templar nerf. Or the Restoring Spirit change. When we before Restoring Spirit got changed, it was very clearly Templar, and then after that, it's much more even. Is there certain things you do as soon as the servers are available? Level. Level, 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 level. Go, 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 go. Yeah. Optimal weapon and chance for tanking. Trait is very easy to tell. You want a defending weapon, because it gives you armor and spell resistance. In terms of actual enchant, you have two options. You have Hardening, which is a damage shield, and you have Drain Life, which does like 30 damage and gives you back 14 health when it triggers. I think I like the damage shield more, except it suffers from the same issue as all damage shields. what it is because it's a shield that's 100% effective and free because it's a weapon enchant. Power leveling via quest or other ways. I haven't tested other ways. I haven't gotten a chance to actually get a character to where you can start the grinding. But I plan on just doing quests. Unless grinding proves to be better, maybe, kind of. I don't know. Apparently, it's been, like, severely nerfed, though. Do you think questing is the faster way to level? It wasn't before, because you could do some really, cheesy thing. You could do some, like, you get two people in an AoE, and then you can solo grind AoE things pretty easily. But they reduce the experience by quite a bit. I need to actually get out and test it. How often are you able to cast standard? Is depending on Battle Roar for a resource regen, a useful method for DK resources. How often you can cast standard actually depends on what skills you're using. Because there's some skills that feel like they build ultimate very quickly, and some that build ultimate very slowly. Like in my dual-wielding build, I can build ultimate very quickly. Because it runs like 2 or 3 dots. Which always are like constantly giving me ultimate, whereas in my tank build, I am very reliant on werewolf form in order to use ultimates at any type of like speed. If you're healing, you get ultimate gain from all of your heals, so it should be okay. Since there was okay, the reason why Silver Rolls doesn't seem to work in PvP is because if we're referring to yesterday, it's because I was a werewolf and that person was level 14, so they didn't have the passive. Oops, my bad. And then the other reason would be because it's 5% chance. 5%. That's really low. Yeah, dots build ultimate per tick. Or at least last I checked they do. As long... Because I know it feels like my dual-wielding build gains ultimate very quickly, so... Do you think enchanting will be important while leveling? I would... Okay. I think it'll be, you probably, if you're doing, you'll probably get upgrades often enough, if you're questing. But you'll need the runes anyways, because, no, that's not how runes work. You'll still want aspects. Aspects are always useful, but potencies and improvements are different. I guess which zone for it'll probably be the first one. So it'll probably be Stonefalls, Aradon, and Glenumbra. Just do you suggest slotting other weapons? While living actually respect. Yep, I would suggest that. If you need to. If you like want to level 2 weapon lines at the same time, I would totally recommend it. For a non-SUD player, what level do you take? You get 50 skill points? Shit. 25, 30. As long as you're doing all the main story quests and all like the story quests for the zone that you're in. Spirit Shards AoE from the Templar Adric Spear Tree. Spirit Shards. I think it's underused now because there aren't that many stamina builds being used. So they can't really, so it's not that many people that can benefit from it. Yeah, the Khajiit ratio got changed. It's now 6% crit instead of 3% crit and 15% fire damage. Is there any last minute patches? There hasn't been any yet, not since I posted up the last set of notes. What do you think? Who just get crafting skill? You can do crafting at any level. Yeah, you can do crafting at any level. It's just you need the skill points to actually do the crafting. Whether you can actually get that character, you'll probably need to like get that character up levels and then, like respec it into crafting. What sort of resource levels can you expect to see at endgame? Probably 2,000 plus health is like my general goal for any build, and then you know, push for at least the soft cap on a resource that your build primarily uses. Sistico, look, it's sick. Your name is 5 consonants. I think it's called Costco. Whatever. You're Costco now. Costco, I didn't check anything with haste. It was just light versus heavy. Haste will definitely have a pronounced effect, especially with igneous weapons being available. Fibs, I need to redo the healer build. I don't know. It should, but you would have to rely mostly on the actual heals and not the shields, because shields are not good in PvE. They get kicked off way too easily. With the high elf stuff, do you think Bosmer is stronger now? No. No. The high elf and Bosmer could, like, Half and Bosmer like lend themselves to two very different things. Bosmer is good at one thing, and that is basically being a ganker. You pop out of stealth because you have stealthy, and you hit them with a bunch of physical because you have max stamina. That's about all they're good at. Yeah, I agree, Sovereign. Across the board is better than 6% fire unless you're a DK. Yep. Afternoon, Ezra John. There has not been anything patch-wise. That I have seen. So there's been no updates recently in patch-wise, not since the last Tuesday, I think was the last one. It's feasible to have... Supnik, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't messed around with the best quality enchants because I'm lazy. So I don't know what kind of stats you can get out of that. Also, you might need a race that has max of a stat for that. It was certain ones. Do I still have it open? No. Why would I have it open? That would be reasonable. Let me go find it. Yeah, here it is. Copy, paste. Results. What are you doing, Highlight? Thank you. I feel like you're a spam bot. More than anything. Hello, Nimtiz. How are you? Redguard? I like Redguard, actually. I think Redguard is a really good race. I found Redguard needs to be the weakest race as well. Redguards have very different racials. They're not that strong, I agree. Yeah, Skeeter pretty much will. Show is only going to be about another hour, so that way I can get back to normal sleeping, so I can get extra sleeping, so I can stay up for ridiculous times, because I worked the first 2 days. Footman, yes. I do think that people would definitely be pushing stats past soft caps. And closer to hard caps, even. Though hitting a hard cap is probably going to be a bit ridiculous on some of the stats. But soft caps are totally reasonable. People are already actually pushing past soft caps. At least BTS people are pushing past soft caps. I see a lot of like non-PTS form goers just kind of like, oh god, it's a cap. Oh god, what's it do? Alright, so like, as an example, sorry Circa, but Shriska in chat, armor easy to cap? Yeah, you can soft cap it easily. Hard capping it. Hard cap. Armor is definitely one of the armor skills that you can hard cap. And the Nord racial is really good at that. Yeah, I had to book my vacation before I knew what the early access was going to be, so I took a stab at 3 days, ended up being 5. The Lazy Pros, I have a post coming. I actually just resent it to Tropos after it being proofread. That has all that information in it in terms of what race I'm playing. Or in terms of what I'm going to be playing at launch. It'll be a currently Dunmer Dragon Knight. Is it normal to have soft caps more than 2 to 4 stats regions included? Yes. Well, I would assume so, yes. It looks that way. If you're using like fairly low-cost stamina skills, or like if you're using melee spells, I think melee spell Redguard will actually do quite well. Because you can use, the melee spell should presumably still trigger your, Redguard racial. Will you be going for any vampire skills? No. As a maybe? As like a testing thing, or maybe a PvP thing, when we're, like, either before Adventure Zones, or like after it's all horribly on farm. But currently, no. Yeah, they do, Nijon. FTC actually has a better character screen, though it hasn't been updated in a while. As far as I know, it still works. Yeah, I agree, Sovereign. If you want to do like a magic-based Templar, still put points into health while you're leveling, because leveling is one of the times you are absolutely going to take damage no matter what happens. How effective is Cinderstorm's AoE damage? The damage on Cinderstorm is pathetic, but it's free damage, so I really like Cinderstorm. I mean, it does like 20 to 30 a second. It's fairly low. What is the most important to have in PvP, the Sorcerer or the Templar? Both. You want your PvP group to be balanced. Sorcerers bring negate to magic, which is really strong because it's a group, because it's an AoE silence. Templars bring their own, like, they bring a really large area knockdown, which is like a really hard CC, a snare, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Surska, you should still be able to upgrade to the Imperial if you have a digital. Physical, I'm not sure, but if you have a digital, you can upgrade. What about the interrupt more from the other Cinderstorm? Eruption? I think Eruption is best used as an AoE stun. Right, we get demolished here because this is the first time we saw this boss with the actual mechanics working. Because before you could just bash everything he did, everything he did. So we die. As an example, actually, our three-man group right here is a Sorcerer, a Templar, and a Dragon Knight. I mean, you should be able to, Surska. I would maybe put in a support ticket, or maybe just like look at your account settings and see if it's available. Is FTC going to be available before launch? Yes, there will be an updated version of FTC before launch. I don't know when he's putting it up, but it will be there. You can't negate the vampire's fire weakness. Well, how it works, Mistborn actually did the testing. He has a video on it actually. Is a specific element fire resist adds to your normal spell resistance, and then the vampire fire weakness is applied. So you can only... Normally the hard cap for spell resistance is 50%, but if you're a vampire, you can only get 75% max, because it would be, you know, 50% of 50% is 25%, then you're taking 25% extra damage instead of 50% extra damage. There we go. Footman, I'm talking about the Nova Synergy. Experion, I'm expecting a patch to PTS either today or tomorrow. Do you know anyone in the hardcore? I don't know any hardcore PvP guilds that are recruiting now. Alright. Supnik, I don't know why people spam Blood Craze. I'm gonna go with because they're bad. You're much better off spamming, like, light attacks in most situations, or even heavy attacks. If you were looking for something to dump a resource with, I would use Flying Blade. Flying Blade hits really hard in the stamina build. It's quite funny. Yes, you can. Maroon Sun. You can be in multiple cross-faction guilds. Have they... have they released... I don't know if they have the pre-patch up yet. Khajiit Nightblade would be viable for soloing or more for groups. Khajiit Nightblade is just good. I think Khajiit is still a really good race, even with the Carnage change. Although I personally don't find a good reason to refresh Blood Craze. Though I haven't actually tested it as an execute. I haven't actually done that kind of testing, so maybe it is worth it to clip it in some situations. I think personally I would maybe just like spam rapid strikes. If you want a absurd amount of health Experion, yes. That would be the way to go, is to put plus health on your armor and support it with infused. I personally like doing 49 points into health because I switch my gear around a lot. And having to like balance health with various gear sets is annoying. So I'll take fewer pieces enchanted with health, but have my points into health, just to make that easier. What would you build skill points into if you're playing a Khajiit Nightblade? I would focus on as many things that get melee crit. Melee crit, melee crit, melee crit. As many melee crit things as you can, and some sustainability. So like siphoning strikes with morph to leeching strikes, I think it is. Like Killer's Blade, Haste, Blur. I think I got 5 skills there. There are 4 skills. I mean, you do want to definitely keep up the dot. But that's just what are you doing otherwise? Juiceman, we do have a database of guilds on Tamriel Foundry. You could look there. What's your guild going to be? Alliance. We are Eldmeri. That's yeah. Thank you, Debrentes. Did you think the Destruction Staff Fire Yes. Do you think the Destruction Staff Fire Mage style DK is a good build to play in large group PvP? Absolutely. I did that before I had moved to my current build with the Restoration Staff. I think Bow would not match up your stat distribution. That would not be a good choice for that, though. Will ER have an EU section? No. Okay. Sup, Nick? Have you tested Necrotic Orb and X-Tix other synergy? Yes. It's, if you use it correctly, it's really dumb. Like, really dumb. It can get really good. Do you know if the bonus damage from Solar Flare and Dot Sunfire factor into the Backlash Final damage? Backlash Final damage is based on your level, as far as I could tell. Footman, it only works on undead and Daedra and werewolves. If once you're high enough levels, so I don't know if it'll work on player. Yeah, player ones. It might. Have they mentioned the cost of respec? Yes, they were in the patch notes of the last one. They're 100 gold per skill point that you have spent. Best class to go with bow. Templar's a good choice. Sork is a really good choice because of Surge. Dragon Knight is an interesting choice. It's not like the best, but it's interesting. I'm actually using a bow right now. Okay. Are short-term buffs and durations available through the API? Nope, not yet. Sadly. Are AoE weapon abilities like Cleave and Whirlwind considered melee attacks to the forces of Redguard and Imperial? Yes. Yes, they are. How easy is it to come by for 100 gold? If I find a high-level item that has the Ornate trait, they sell for like 150. Alright, see you later, Footman. Luckily, Bengal, if you spend one skill point while you're respecking, it's total skill points spent, not just your total skill points. So, if you mess up while you're respecking, you're fine. It's just that first one might be a bit ridiculous. RCG, no. You would have 6 of 3 active, and you would not get double effect. Be best for PvP? That is a very open-ended question. They're all really good at PvP. How much health should you at least have? I would recommend 2,000. 2,000. 2,000 isn't that hard to hit. You really need to add like another 800. But yeah, 2,000 is what I would recommend on that. It's easy to break 50% of your max stamina. No, it is... What is it? Shit. 560? I'm not sure offhand, but it is a static cost. Yeah, pretty much the best class is the one that you want to play, because look, it'll be the character there it is. The character you're most comfortable with. Here it is. Break free is 585 stamina. Oh, I was wrong on that. Where did that get 216 from? What the fuck? Okay, anywho. How effective is Inner Fire and its morphs? The synergy, I find the synergy to be rather lackluster. We're unsure if it's been buffed or not, because we've seen, it do really low damage for it being a channel, and we've seen it do, good damage. So we're not too sure what's going on with how much damage it does. Personally, I take the range and cost reduction. I take Inner Beast for my Inner Fire. I'm going to be going DK, Destro, Altmer, or Breton. Okay. If you're going a DK and Destruction Staff, I would go Dunmer because of the pending Dunmer racial change, where it's being changed to 6% fire damage instead of 4 fire spell power, because 4 fire spell power is really bad. 6% fire damage is much better. What do you think the best setup for meeting PV in a 3-man group? Actually, this is probably a better setup. Sorcerers have really strong range damage because Crystal Fragments is really good, even though our Templar is actually DPSing and our Sorcerer is healing. But it just depends, what things can actually split really well, like do hybrid damage healing or damage survivability. PvP Destruction FDK. I personally all of my PvP builds that I've done. I've ended up with Sword and Shield secondary, and I don't know why. I just really like using Sword and Shield somewhere. I always find something that it's good for, whether it's just the armor from having the shield, or the as particular active that I really like, off defensive stance. Yeah. Yes, Max Magic on every piece of armor and the Mage Midas Stone. Yeah, you can totally get, Magic a soft cap with that. A stamina effect on light and heavies. I didn't actually do light and heavies. I just did. I didn't actually do what stamina did to light and heavies. So I did. I just test. I was personally. I was looking for how much igneous weapons affected stuff. This is what I was looking for. Fire grip. Fire grip is better because I think its range is longer. Let me look at Obsidian Shard. Obsidian Shard is weird. I think the big thing with Fiery Grip is it puts other people out, in PvP at least, it puts other people out of position instead of putting your... Oh no, Fire Grip is longer. Okay. Yeah. Fire Grip is just like a positional superiority tool, because it puts other people out of superiority, or out of position, versus you going somewhere. So it's a very safe way to capitalize on someone else's mistake. Yes, I would devstate. If you plan on using, a bunch of fire damage with most of your builds, I'm always using at least a skill that does fire damage, so I really like Dunmer. Because all of my other builds are pretty Magicka based, but I still have some max stamina. Do I have stamina multipliers for various weapons? I do have that. Where is it? I have this guy. Stamina scaling with weapons. This is just how the light attack damage scales. Is there a link to the new racial bonus? No. They were in the AMA. I don't know if it's posted. Alright. God damn it. We highlighted the major questions out of our Q&A. Here are some terrible questions. God damn it. Templars make good tanks. Templars make good tanks, but they do have to look outside of their class skill lines to get the best, the best benefit. Power Helm, yes. Weapon passives only apply while wielding that weapon. Morning, Banana. How are you doing? Is the Monday patch on PTS yet? Not that I know of. Let's refresh the PTS forums. Nothing yet. Yeah, nothing yet. Have they been updated here? Ooh, no, those are still out of date. Those are still out of date. This thing? Yeah. Alright. What do you think will be the number 2 faction? I don't know what I think the number 2 faction is. So our TF survey was actually fairly limited, but if you go to... Okay, let's go home. So, our TF survey was fairly limited. This has a... Huh. I think this poll got around slightly more, but... didn't really get as many viewers. Here's a different census, not the TF one. This one's different. So, like I pulled this off of the Cigic forums. I have seen it linked around. This one is hilarious. This one is balanced as shit. I saw a question about momentum. Momentum is a timed buff, so the buff would still apply, even if you weapon switch. Yes. Rapid regen and mutagen. Yes. You could have both. What's up, Dregs? This is sorcerer build anything can use a 200. You would gear for I'm assuming you're referring to how sorcerers have no passives that feed back into stamina. They do have no passives that feed back into stamina, but they do have surge, which gives a really large amount of weapon damage. On top of two-handed already having some of the highest weapon damage available. Are tanks effective in PvP? They are... We have to build... I'm not too sure, actually, because it's a bit odd how effective a PvP tank works. I think a PvP tank works something like a tank in a MOBA. What's the easiest way to level up quickly? Yeah, probably. I don't know how I'm going to level up quickly anymore. I don't know what my plan with that is. It's going to be play the game, and we'll see. Gotta love them chocobos. There's probably a bunch of people playing on EU in here, because... There's someone playing on NA, but there's probably more EUs than anything. But yeah. We're trapped in a collapsing cave and can't actually leave because the door is broken. No. Skills like concealed weapon have effects while slotted, even if they are slotted in the inactive bar. No, you do not gain that benefit. Acilia, what we found is 3 people is like too many to do regular questing. Everything just dies way too quickly. So two is fine. Three you kind of kill things too quickly, and you end up waiting too much on stuff. When in the first Adventure Zone is speculated to be released? The first patch, so 4 to 6 weeks after launch. Elemental Drain... no. Elemental Drain is good for like a support build, or you'll probably want at least one person running it. When can you swap bars in combat? You cannot, so you have your weapon swap, which you can do at any point in time. Actually changing what weapon is on that bar, or what skills are on that bar, you have to be out of combat to do. Where's Erlich probably dying on the PTS somewhere? He's at work. I'm assuming he's at work. I mean, Brazil will probably end up on the NA server and then drive everyone mad with their Spanish. And it'll be funny. I think the default is Teedle. I have rebounded to Zed. Do you prefer bow or destruction staff, and why? The bow and destruction staff do different things. Destruction staff has a lot of short range AoE. Bow is meant on to be like used at a range. Why is the screen shaking? Because we're technically trapped in a collapsing cave and we're supposed to be escaping, but you don't have to escape, so it's just kind of there with the screen shake. Templar with heavy armor or light armor? Heavy armor is only good for tanking. And maybe some specific things in PvP. What role am I going? Tank. Tanky tank tank tanky tank. I'm the tank. Around what point does your weapon damage soft cap? 185. Or 180. It's one of the two. I've heard 5. I thought it was 80. It's not. Igneous weapons that momentum would definitely be overkill, except Igneous weapons lasts a minute. It lasts slightly longer than a minute, so it's not that bad. Looks like a lot of DKs were running 5 light 2 heavy. Is that just for PvP and tanking and PvE and heavy? That's what I do, males. All of my builds right now are magic based and PvP, so yeah, 5 light for that. And then I use the opposite. I use 5 heavy 2 light when I'm PvE tanking. Chase Simpson, what are the differences between Ice Fire and Lightning Staffs in terms of damage? There isn't much in terms of straight up damage, except for... by themselves, there isn't any difference. Wall of Elements with a Fire Staff does more damage. And all fire damage has a chance to cause burning, which is a status. It's a dot that is applied by any source of fire damage. So they technically do more, but not directly. Unless you're using Wall of Elements, and then it just does more. It's okay though, Crix. Given how campaigns work, theoretically, given how campaigns work, any in any given campaign that any other faction might be an underdog other than like what is technically posed as the most populated faction. This is true that Resto Staffs do the most damage. Resto Staffs are good for builds that only use class skills because of Cycle of Life. Also, they have the strongest light attack for whatever reason. I don't know, that one doesn't make any sense to me. There's igneous weapons and molten weapons stack when coming from different DKs. Unnamed, I'm not entirely sure. How much crit can you get the precise weapon trait on the high end? 8. I think it's 8%. I think it's 8%, 10% on a two-handed item. That doesn't sound right. It's 6%. And 10% on a high-end two-handed item. That sounds right. Full stamina DK build from your experience. So, Crazy Ramen, I would actually, like, take a look at my DPS build. As that is technically a stamina build, but it uses Magicka for Inferno. But most of its damage comes from stamina-based stuff. Like most of its damage actually comes from bleeds. Well, from blood craze and light attacks. Can you elaborate on synergies, such as the number of allies that can use them? Can one Nova kill an entire raid? If you have damage... Ooh, okay. There's no range listed on Magma Armor, it's melee range. So, a couple things then. It depends on the synergy. Most synergies can only be used once. Particularly ones like Nova. Nova can only be used once. Shackle can only be used once. Stuff like Impale. Impale can be used once per person. Conduit can be used... I think actually, no, they can't. They can only be used once. Molten Shell can be used multiple times, but I think the range is melee. Half Saw, currently it adds... really modified to match the description to melee attacks only. I don't. Currently, I think it does need to affect bow, and currently that's what it does. With it being changed to just crit. Well, Banana, unfortunately what's gonna, I think, not because they won the most campaigns, but because all, like, the big ESO communities are going AD. And, like, all the, like, a lot of popular YouTube things are going AD, like Angry Joe. What crafting skills will I be going down? I will be woodworking... blacksmithing? Woodworking blacksmithing. How and when, I don't remember, but woodworking blacksmithing. Yeah, Ryukoi, you want both health and Magicka for healing. You need Magicka for, you know, can't heal if you're out of mana, and your spells scale with it. And you need health to not die. Breton, High Elf, or Dark Elf would be the best for Resto Templar, and what would be my ult weapon? Breton. Breton because of the cost reduction, personally. And I would make ult weapon, it could be pretty flexible. If you're Resto, you're bound to have a high Magicka, so I would recommend Destruction Staff. How do you change Daedric Heart? Random drop. Daedric Heart's a random drop. Is there a blacksmith for all armor types? Yeah. Blacksmithing is for heavy armor and melee weapons. It's a bit of both. I'm just showing a Twitch highlight, but I'm live. Because I don't have any recorded stuff. Even because we can't show live stuff. Yeah. How long does it take to go from VR1 to VR10? I don't know. VR1 to VR10 has been nerfed heavily since I did it, because they took the achievement off of the Undaunted experience, the Undaunted achievements that I used to get it. Took you 8 days played? Okay. Okay. That's a lot, yeah. If you learn crafts and a profession, then remove skill points. What? If you learn crafts and a profession, and then remove skill points from them, do it lose the craft abilities, or can you still get all crafts better skills and only move your passes around? Depots! Okay. So what happens when you respec out of a profession is I think your extra resources get paused if you are running 2 or more. And you can't, like, make higher level stuff, but you keep your experience with the craft, so you can put the points back in if you want. Jolly Skyrim, we don't know anything about Craglorn. Mark, you have your sword. Sometimes Twitch chat is slow. You still have your sword. Speaking of 50 plus and 50 plus plus content, how does the quest rewards from that content compare with dungeon gear? It's all comparable, really. The thing with the dungeon gear is that's where you can get a lot of unique items that have unique effects. Whereas questing gear is going to be just like it'll just be like, you know, standard kind of questing gear that you get from doing any other quests. In fact, from what I could tell, it's literally just a VR version of the item that you would have got from normal. Do you think it's patch for one day open up the Imperial City? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay, what? So, skill points, yes. The first skill in all of the crafts is always going to be increased quality, increased level of items. So, like, using a better material will allow you to make a higher level item. So you do need skill points to make higher level items. What governs when passives are available? Meaning, do you need to have a skill slotted from that tree or not? The only time it'll say on the passive itself what is required to use it. If it doesn't say anything, it is always active. Otherwise, it'll have a requirement. Like weapon skills require you to be, say, like while you're using a two-handed. Or like a lot of the Mage's Guild skills, say when you use a Mage's Guild skill, while you have a Mage's Guild skill slotted. Why are we not allowed to stream besides weekends? I have no clue. How do you get the upgrade materials to make yellow gears? Rare loot? Yes, they're rare out of like your hireling bag, or just like random out of any other thing that you would get or like deconstructing, I think. Meridian Sun? I do. Eventually, I do. Because there's about 300 skill points for like everything, and then there's another 119 or something for crafting, and you only have about 300 available. So how many sites did I find outside of crafting? Like 20, 25? There's a lot. The armor set that is what Mark is wearing in the video is actually a costume. It's the costume you get for hitting VR2. How do you gain experience with the Undaunted Tree? By, you gain experience in the Undaunted Tree whenever you complete an Undaunted achievement. It gives you 10. So, like, completing a dungeon for the first time, that gives you 10. Completing a challenge achievement, that gives you 10. Completing a speedrun, that gives you 10. So, you can do it, How long does it take to open the Mage's Guild line? You can do it right away.